Hey all, I wanted to make a sort of commentary, tutorial video about my 904, talking about the strategies I use. So after I got 875, obviously I was pretty ecstatic. But it was picks, pointing out that I missed a bigger play to finish. Um, and combined with getting closer to 750, it was kind of likely I could have scored 900 that game. Um, so I went from ecstatic to annoyed after like within a day. So I started brainstorming some strategies for 900. And obviously, the big thing is you need to finish with at least a 151. Um, so I thought that like the 9x bingo, but kind of thought it was not reliable enough. It was luck based. It could take a lot of swapping, and you might run out of time. And I don't feel like I'm as great at quickly spotting bingos like others in the group. My mind went to our favorite word, Zax. Um, kind of tried to memorize like different hook scores to see how close I'd have to get to 750 first. Um, so if you look at some different Zax hooks, then is your basic Zax under a four-letter vowel word, which is this is 144. That's not good enough. You add an M, then this is 149. This is still not good enough. If you put it under J, then it's worth 155. So now we're getting somewhere. And then here, this is what I like to call juicing the corner. I don't know how I landed on that term, but let's make it a thing. So you could play Jones and then add a P over the O and then make it Zax, and this would be worth 167. So now you have a lot more breathing room to try to get, you don't have to get to 733 if you don't have any teammates to get the 900 with this play to finish. So at first I was kind of just playing normal, and where I'd clean out the bottom left and the bottom right, and then just say Z and the X for the top right. Um, but I realized that if I wait that long, then I may no longer have the consonants I needed to juice the corner like I just showed. So then I started committing to setting up the Zax final corner as soon as possible, like even bottom left, and then juice it as soon as I got the consonants that I need, and then just ignore that corner for the rest of the game. And then soon after that, it occurred to me to try, rather than going under these words, I thought of these. I thought you could how you can play Jin and then Zax for Jinx Zax, or Jew and then Juke Zax, and these are both worth 180. So this became my primary strategy because obviously then you'll have to get 720. And you could even, if I had a teammate starting to play late, make a couple small plays, I could, still get there because it's worth so much. So I kind of committed to this. Like if I had an N or a U in my opening rack, then I would commit to just immediately setting up the bottom left. So this is what I ended up doing. So I'll move into the game now. So in this game, I had it took about 6 minutes to load. It had 5 players in my team and 4 players in their team, and then the bot eventually loaded. In these games, I'm not sure if either the players are locked out or if they probably just give up on waiting and did something else. So I assumed I'd probably be alone in this game, so I was immediately very nervous and knew it was a chance at 900. So you can see here that I'm already down 138 to nothing. I know that Allie had a game like this recently where she had a bot on her side, and it was like 100 to nothing. The bot had already scored 100 points when she started. So I assumed here that 138 was by the bot on the other side, so I wasn't too concerned about being this far behind. Um, though a human did start playing around about the point that I joined. So we're going to the plays here. I noted that I had an N in my rack here. So my thought is already going to playing that on the left side next. Next is boar, which is fine. A little bit of fumbling. So here I played say. Probably should have played fang, but in high scoring games, then I'm gonna have to go to the bottom right, before, like generally before the top right anyway. So this the order doesn't necessarily matter. It's also helpful to remember to play like your first word to have a consonant for that third letter. So I have the S here, and then it's easier to go to the triple letter with say next. So here I ended up playing rum. In normal strategy, you want to play bunk, but I wanted to save the N in case this became my jinx board. So here I have the perfect chance to set up my N for jinx. So I go right to nags. Obviously, normal strategy would be to play longs, but here I'm getting the N in place. Here I ended up playing bent. So the other board now I know is the board I just came from is my primary board where I'm gonna try to set up my Jinx and Zax. So now this is my secondary board and I can just do normal strategy. I can do whatever I want pretty much. So forget about the end. I can play bent, set up the quadruple board. Here I played Ope. A lot of fumbling. I was playing on my old phone, which didn't help, and I have a lot to keep track of here on this board. You know, I have to stay away from the bottom left. I have to wait for JI to appear so I can add that on to N at the left, and I need to be careful to watch out for drawing Z and X. Here I end up playing A. More fumbling. So here I drew X, and I completely forget that I need to save it for the end. I might have forgotten that this is my big board. I probably should just play like open and nil. So anyway, at the time I was unaware, but I almost completely blew the 900 by playing the X here. So on this board, I began a sequence of unnecessary swaps, probably just because my brain was overloaded. All I need to do here is just play, in E underneath the Y to set up Yez and Zig. And I don't know, I make this mistake often in normal games too. Like I just feel committed to needing an S when I could just set it up going down. Next board I played fail, which is fine. Even more fumbling. Another unnecessary swap. So here I played Vex, and you saw that I almost played Kex, which would have officially derailed the 900, but we'll revisit that later. Here comes another swap, and another failure. So you can see I press the S, but it goes back into the rack and doesn't swap it. So now I just have ZX. So I went to swap here again. I kept the Z. I should have kept the I. Well, I didn't need to keep the I either. I should have just played the I. Let me go back here. Could have played the I on top of N to get towards. Obviously, my priorities to put Jin there. Just kept the Z. So that was a small mistake. So here I finally figured out that I just had to play the E under the Y the whole time. All right. And this one I played Oda's, which I almost swapped again unnecessarily. I was just kind of really nervous at this point. Well, that was good. So now all that swapping accidentally ended up paying off since I ended up getting to play as Zax, which got me a whole bunch of important points. And after this, I think I kind of settled down with my nerves and my sloppy play. So here I went with caw. You see, I'm avoiding using the J. So here I end up swapping all to both quadruple word setup, so kind of standard play here with no S. So now you see I have drawn J and I in my rack, which I've been waiting for, so I can set up Jin. So I have this setup is almost complete now. And I'm starting to feel pretty good here. I ended up playing herds here. I had an S. I didn't need to use the blank there, obviously. Oh well. Here with hem, finish off the top right corner. Here is vase. That was good. So now I'm getting pretty close to how many points I need to get. So I decided it's time to start swapping for Zax. And right as I'm about to swap, I notice the X has already been played. Um, Fortunately, I have an unintentional backup plan, which is ZK, which I know is 162, which I happen to memorize like the day before. So I know I can still get to 900 if I'm careful. And like I said, it was very fortunate that I didn't play Kex earlier when I changed to Vex, or I'd be dead in the water here. Swap ZE. So now here I end up playing flows and A's, which normally is standard strategy. I would play fouls and bents, um, but I'm kind of like in point grabbing mode here, which causes me to make weird decisions sometimes and just take the first plays I see. And this ended up just being fine. I'm starting to get pretty close to the points I need. Here's swap number 2, hoping to get Zach. And I'm not too worried about not getting the K. If I go back here, you can see there's 12 letters left in the bag. So it's about a 50% chance of drawing it. And I still need to score more points on the other board anyway first. 0 with non, starting to extend toward the top right. Here's my third swap to try to get the K. Here's toss, ta. So I only have 13 more points to go to get to 738. Here's my fourth swap to try to get the K. Here I'm just playing T. Finally get the K here. Reflexes just tried to dump an R somewhere. I didn't immediately see a spot. Obviously there are spots, I just didn't see them. So I just passed. Because obviously I know I can get the remaining points on the other board. Is and T's, and that puts me over 742, so now I'm all set here. Zach, and there it is. There's a pretty long pause here, so I was worried I wouldn't get a score screen, which would have been extremely disappointing. Yeah, that pause is even longer than I remembered. So there it is. I had a pretty big reaction, obviously. Though in the back of my mind, I was kind of annoyed about the X fail. Still, the biggest reaction I've ever had was my first 700, where I literally jumped around the room for like a minute. So look at the stats here. So 41 words, not bad. This human on the other team was probably pretty good actually to get 373 with a late start and using only 3 boards. And kind of happy they did because just playing against a bot on the other team would have been kind of lame. So yeah, that's it. I kind of still want to play more to hopefully get one more no teammate gain. We're gonna execute the whole thing correctly to finish with a Zax, which would put me in the 920s. And then maybe I can retire. We'll see. No, I'm kidding, obviously. But I just wouldn't, stress over scores nearly as much. All right, all. Thanks for watching. Let me know what you think of the video, and see you later.